Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. Welcome to SimpliCode's YouTube channel, and in today's session, we'll be learning about MongoDB relationships. Now, relationships in relational databases are achieved using primary and foreign key relationships, and querying those relationships can be done using joins and other conditions. Now, there is no such straightforward mapping in MongoDB, but the relationships here can be designed using embedded and by linking various different documents. More on that soon. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, consider getting subscribed to our channel SimpliCode to stay updated with all the latest tech content, and hit that bell icon to never miss an update from us. So without any further ado, let's get started with today's topic. So, what are relationships in MongoDB? Now, MongoDB relationships are the representation on how different documents present in a collection are connected logically to each other in a database. MongoDB relationships helps in various different factors, right? For example, relationships enforce data integrity in relational databases, and it also establishes a relationship between documents, which can help refine the database structure as per your requirement. Now, we know that MongoDB is a NoSQL database and has a lot of unstructured data. So, in order to properly confine all the documents into a proper format and refining them into a proper structure is quite beneficial, not just in terms of saving the data, but it also affects the performance and makes execution time also shorter. And finally, it basically links important entities in the database. So that is what relationship in MongoDB is. Now, there are different types of MongoDB relationship here, guys. We have embedded and reference method. So data relationship can be achieved through these methods, wherein embedded documents relationship between data is by storing related data into a single document structure. Now, let's say if I have a collection and I have two different documents. Now, as the word suggests, which is embedded, I'm basically storing these two different documents into a single document structure, which is known as embedded document relationship. And similarly, we have a document referenced method or simply reference method, which is used to store the relationship between data by including any links or references from one document to another. Now, we'll understand this with an example here. Now, if you consider this embedded model, collection which I have here, let's say I have, a details of a person whose name is Pranav, whose ID is 118025. His contact details are there, his phone number, his email address. Now, this is basically one document, right? Now, similarly, I have another document wherein I'm having his grade details. That is his subject, which is CS203, and the score, that is the grade that they have achieved, is B. Now, instead of having two different documents in the collection, I'm basically merging them. That is, I'm embedding both of these into a single document. So this is what embedded model does. It basically combines two documents into a single document structure. And similarly, I have reference model. Now, reference model basically links two or more documents, right? Now, let's say I have again a student collection here, which is of Rohan, whose contact details, his email ID, phone number, and grade are being displayed here. So let's say I have a collection. And in that, I have three different documents, which is student, contact details, and grade. Now, instead of having three separate documents, I can simply combine these, or I can link with the help of user ID. I can basically combine the contact details as well as the grade into a single document. So this is how reference model works. That is by referencing or linking two or more documents into a single document structure. So that was all about reference model, and that is main difference between embedded and reference. Now, we have these two embedded and document reference relationships, and these can be achieved by three different methods. That is, we can have one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationships, and in document reference relationship can be achieved through many-to-many relationships. Now, let us now understand what exactly these are. All right. So, one-to-one relationship, basically, if you have any one field, it can only have one value. In such case, it will consider as one-to-one relationship between any data that is present in the document. And if you consider one-to-many, now as the name suggests, one-to-many. So when one field has multiple relationship between the data in between documents that is stored in the collection of a database, in such case, one-to-many relationship model can be used. And similarly, we have many to many. Now, let's say I have three different document structures wherein I have two or more entities within a document and having, let's say, an array of details present in a single collection or in a document. So it can have multiple relationships, right? So in that case, we need to use many to many. I hope this is clearly understood. We'll get into detail by each of them. We'll consider each of the relationship model and understand how it is different from each other with an example now. So firstly, we have the one-to-one relationship, guys. Now, one-to-one relationships are created by linking two documents from different collection using a shared key, that is sharing the object ID of one collection to the other, which is a property of the same value. Now, often the best way to create this relationship is to have the child collection query, which is the key value of the first collection. Now, object IDs, which basically are created by default in MongoDB, are commonly used to make this connection, although it can be of any other type. Now, let's say I have another example here, which says that I have a users collection which has ID by default, name John, and age is 40. And I have address collection as well, which has ID, which is by default again, and the address details like street name as Church Street, number I'm having 1421.0, city as New York. Now, what one-to-one relationship does is it links two different documents, right? So in order to combine these two, I need a common property or a common key. That is done by using the object ID here. So if you look at the result, the resultant set of the document has been combinedly showcasing the details of the user as well as his address. So you can clearly see that we have the object ID, the details first here. Next we have name John, age 40, address. Again, in address, we are basically documenting or adding the data of the address in the same document itself. So this is one-to-one relationship. Let us now move ahead and understand what is one-to-many relationship. So one-to-many relationship is another relational model we use, which is created by linking a document in one collection to multiple documents in other collection. So let's say I have an example of a collection here. Now this is basically widely used to use increasingly, and where there are more array values within a table. So in such case, you can use one-to-many relationship. Now, for example, I have an authors collection which says the name of the author is J.K. Rowling, and we have two different books, and for that we have object IDs as well. So in other collection, we have the details of the books now clearly, which is ID again, and name of the book is Philosopher's Stone, and next we have another book collection, the data that is of Chambers of Secret. Now, in order to combine this, now one-to-many is basically with the reference of author collection. I'm basically connecting, two different book collection into a single document. So we have multiple documents in the books collection, right? And we have a single author collection. Now I'm basically clubbing these two. I'm creating a link between these two collection and I'm creating a single document. So if you look at in the resultant set, I have the name of the author, that is J.K. Rowling, and the books and their IDs and the details of their books, that is the name, that is Philosopher's Stone and Chambers of Secret. So in this way, you can also use one-to-many relationship model in order to properly structure your data based on the requirement. And similarly, we also have many-to-many relationship here, guys, but I'm not going to discuss it. Let us know in the comment section below and let us know what can be a good example of many-to-many relationships. And that brings us to the end of today's session, guys. Now, while embedded embedded document model is ideal for one-to-one and one-to-many relationship, and referenced data document model is ideal for many-to-many relationship. Now, denormalization, which is embedded, whereas normalization is the name given to reference relationships. Now, establishing a good relationship between documents can aid in the refinement of the database structure, as we discussed earlier, which can overall impact the overall performance of the database and can reduce the execution time in the database as well. So I hope I made myself clear with the topics that we have covered in today's session. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you found this tutorial informative and helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and colleagues. If you have any further queries regarding any of the topics covered in today's session, Feel free to let us know in the comment section below, and a team of experts will be more than happy to help resolve all your queries at the earliest. Until next time, stay safe and keep coding.